Hi, it is I, Priestess Gorgeous. I want to bring you a pre-disclosure briefing, and I also want to welcome you here into the temple. I want to welcome you into the community. I want to welcome you into the soul family. I want to just raise up in love and light all those who are awakening to their purpose, their mission here in the physical, working in the benefit of the collective and the universal oneness and the service of the goddess and the great mysteries of the divine motherhead. So I did a pre-disclosure video on my channel, and I suppose the pre-disclosure is about figuring out our options moving forward as a collective. I feel there's some events happening soon in the lower planes, so that would include here in the third dimension, especially around some of the newer world martial countries or areas or soul groups even. There's going to be a turn of events where a lot of anguish comes out to the surface. And then I shared some of my own personal disclosure, me coming into some newer awareness and having come up to the light from maybe even a dark journey of the soul, but definitely some shadow work. There was that unalignment with my craft and my, daily devotional duties. I also share a little bit about falling out of practice or falling maybe out of reverence or grace, a lapse of grace, I would call it. So I talked a little about that. I have some cards out here, so I'm just going to read through them and talk openly about the pre-disclosure. Disclosure in general is when a collective, an organization comes out with news about themselves, or one party talks about something that up until recently was held back. It could be, it's the truth coming out. That's disclosure. And, I feel like this disclosure is around the soul group, and really, I was talking to the fact that a lot of times in the physical, there's a collective experience from something that's been going on in the spiritual. For instance, a lot of people's emotions are being manipulated, or a lot of people are working out grief about moving on and moving through the soul group. So people, places, and things that they're falling out of love with, how they're outgrowing everybody. That's going to cause conflicts, I would say, in certain areas on the globe. For instance, North America is the first chakra. South America is the second chakra. Venezuela's been going on for just about as long as we've really been healing our twin flame karma. Okay, but it's that lower shadow work that we're doing. That's why the second chakra is going through it. Not that all the chakras aren't going through it. For instance, the heart chakra of the earth is the Middle East, and you look at what's going on right there. Giza Strip is really the astral where we're coming from this planet. So that disclosure also had some of my own, personal, how I've been evolving through the soul group. So those of you that are coming into the temple and finding that some energies are speaking to you, or even if it's me personally, the technique that I have going on speaks to you, or my spiritual cadence, my kitschy cadence keeps you wondering, that's a good place to kind of check in just for now. And there's also a little bit of a re-engagement, which will be the second disclosure that comes out. There's a pre-disclosure and a disclosure. So that'll be the operative function for those who want to restart, re-engage, kind of catch up, tune in. All right. Now, I do feel here for the collective, one thing that we should notice is that we're healing again as a soul group. And we're moving through insecurity, lack of hope, faith, and optimism. We're allowing the truths to come through. And over the last, I'd say, almost lunar cycle, but since definitely the full moon, if not already the new moon. So for some of us, it's going to be new beginnings. But for most of us, things have been dissipating since the full moon. And it's been the people, places, and things that we're trying to align ourselves with that really doesn't work. We're stepping into our discernment, figuring out how we're elevated, figuring out how we want to stand our ground, what our spiritual power is, how to contribute to the collective energies and vibration that would help the mysteries be revealed, help the goddess come out, help the lifting of the veil, versus perpetuating the lack of sovereignty, the lack of reclaiming of oneself and one's power. So we're moving into soul groups that are higher vibrational, more in alignment with how we're trying to leverage our options, how we're trying to take our power back, how we're trying to navigate in this world through, again, personal empowerment. Now, I pulled a chakra healing oracle card. I like it because it really plays on the rainbow motif. That's another thing in that video. I talked about the type of priesthood I have. And again, it was more towards the temple about what's offered. And, one thing I will say about the pre-disclosure is that on the way towards the 15th, every single day I'll come out with a different concept and idea. Just for those who are really trying to re-engage or tune back in and see if maybe it's an energy that they want to pick up, but it's a miracle. Things are coming back around. I share about all types of things. But ultimately, the briefing would be my findings here, which is we're weighing up our options, we're withdrawing our energy, and that's happening on a soul group level. So we're going to be finding our tribe, and our physical environments, our lives we're going to discover things about ourselves that there's spiritual energies that come to the physical. Since we've been internally working, externally it's going to shift, but there's also going to be a lot of conflict around this too. There is a natural disaster or some type of event that puts a lot of people in panic and worry. Some type of spiritual affliction or disease or detox is going to come to the third dimension. It's going to come to the physical. So for those of us who are not overly concerned about our awakening because we've already done the work, then the only impasse for you would be, what was your level of growth? And then if not, become a workaholic, because there's a lot of grief around your work, and you will be dealing with the pain of regret soon if you don't deal over the next couple of days with the plane of discipline. It's only a couple of days before this recollection hits the physical, okay? And you have the opportunity to either expand or balance. So if you are out of alignment, balance. And if you are in alignment, grow, get to the higher vibration. Because it's bittersweet. You need to be passionate about healing yourself, your connection to your higher self as well. That's my true definition of soulmates, people that remember you of who you are at home in the spiritual. And again, I feel like there's going to be the pain of regret coming if we're not growing, if we're not working on. So if we haven't set up systems and structures for the growth, we should be looking for means, mechanisms, and methodologies to anchor in. Another word for that is technology, to anchor in higher spiritual principles, and those higher spiritual principles will bring in a higher vibration if we're really truly aligning ourselves with those spiritual principles. So there are archetypes in our matrix, in our environment, in the system, in the grid here, that will help us anchor in that higher divinity. Some of us look at the Bible as for some archetypes. Some of us look at, coaching models or communication models or personality models for blueprints or archetypes to anchor some of those higher energies into the physical. But ultimately, it's about you retaining your power. When I coach people, I talk about energetic self-mastery. That is control and sovereignty over yourself physically and yourself spiritually. So you own your energy. You can police your own aura. You can, all those little things. The list is not long, but basically no one can overtake your body and no one can overtake your consciousness is energetic self-mastery. To paraphrase that out for a briefing's sake, I'm looking at the cards of guilt, growth, and release, and that's where that channel came from. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to recap a couple things. My findings again are, I'm going to start shutting this down. I'm going to recap now. My findings just again are that the truth is coming out. We're facing ourself, and in relationship to that, we're going to be taking on angelic guidance, guidance from the head, guidance from the soul group, guidance from the oversoul, the overmind, weighing up our options. Over the next 2 days, we're going to start to intuit the withdrawal of energies so that we can move on into complete cycles. And now sometimes this withdrawal of energies will look like being repelled from old places, people, and things that aren't in alignment with you. And other times you'll be withdrawing your energy, preparing to move on or complete cycles, because the recommendation is to allow and be positive and happy about the being repelled from people, places, and things. Some cold, harsh truths have been coming out over this last month, I'd say. And finally, the harshness is dissipating. You're beginning to heal, but you just might not feel positive about the healing. You might be still feeling pessimistic about the experience, about what you're choosing to call some of the wounding that you recently experienced, or well, it would have been, it's dissipating now. So this is over. And it's the falling out of love with people, places, and things. It almost seems like there's negative turns of events, but really no, there's positive things coming out. Things are being wrapped up, cycles are moving through. It would just feel like it's dissipating, it's energy leaving, not coming in. So the abundance is behind all of the detox here, okay? Now, in terms of the disclosure, I'm gonna be bringing up some options for joining the temple soon. It's kind of, the options kind of closed. There's really no way to receive people into the sanctuary at the current most precise moment, except for counsel. The counsel is still going. You can go to priestessgorgeous.org to book a consultation and assessment. I don't know when you're hearing this video, but at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, there will be a flash sale. What does that mean? There is a flash sale already going on too. So there's going to be 3 options for a flash sale, and this is going to go on until the temple website goes live. Okay, so let's just, I gave you my findings. The temple website will go live on, well, I'm not going to say that date because it seems to be up in the air, and I'd like to follow through with one of those dates eventually. So let me talk about the flash sale here. This flash sale will go until the temple website goes live, and then we'll go to the grand opening model. So check the show notes. There should be what's called a fee schedule. And then let me tell you about the flash sale. Now, the flash sale will be a 90-minute reading. It could be recorded and sent to you, or you could do it live. And it's discounted because you'll see a week from now it'll be much different, or a week and a half from now it'll be much different, much less accessible. Things are going to be shifting around it, so I want to make it a little bit more accessible for a while. This flash sale is going to be great because it'll give you 2 things that are not going to be accessible together for a while. One, it'll give you any love questions and astrology, and the other thing is it'll also place you for the mystery school, or if you're thinking about learning tarot or becoming a light worker or becoming a priestess or anything like that. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't call it a placement test, but it is like a spiritual wellness evaluation, and we could use it in place of a placement test if you're looking to start going through your priestess studies, or maybe even join the mystery school, okay? The other flash sale is going to be 2 options for just a recorded reading, okay? So there's one, no love or astrology. It's at 81 for a 30 to 45 minute. It just depends on you. Seem to be related. Like, I'm thinking of moving to this country because a job offer is happening, and I don't know if this person's willing to move with me. Example, okay? And I need a little bit extra cushion of time in there because sometimes things come out, or your spirits may have something to say. Now, or your guides. Now, there's also an hour to an hour and 15-minute option, and then that one I can include love. Okay, but I can't, outside of spiritual counsel, do astrology with you. If I open up your chart or I do too many cards with you, I'm too intense of a divination session with you. We're in an actual engagement relationship, and I might start coming into your dreams, or, you know, your spirits will start showing up and trying to talk to me, your guides or your ancestors will, and we need to have a more formal relationship for that. So those two flash sales are really going to be maybe something that you need to be aware of, because when you check that fee schedule, there'll be a briefing at the bottom which will tell you why there needs to be a change and what the options are in that respect. And those options also require a little bit of time that you may not be willing to wait. Maybe you have something going on in the next couple of weeks, and if you feel like you may miss out on an opportunity, I would suggest going for it. And please heed my warning, because there's acceptance you need with this truth. Okay. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you all. I've loved this journey. Coming up on the 21st of June, the business will have been open for 3 years, and the temple kind of came out in the second year. In the third year, the first year, it was just going to be a sacred news channel, delivering news from behind the veil. And the broadcasters were going to be oracles, and we were just going to bring tarot messages, especially around transits and things of that nature. And it turned into a sanctuary and a community of, I wanted to say practitioners is what came to mind, but people who are practicing reclamation magic, I call it. So that's that whole becoming woke and ascending and waking up from the dream, you know, taking the red pill. That's the whole kind of reclamation community to me. People finding their power, becoming woke, reclaiming their sovereignty. And it's an honor and a pleasure to really serve the goddess and to serve the new people, the new generation, those who are here to witness the awakening on a collective scale, which was, you know, the abyss, soul, madness, or the apocalypse, even the revealing of the truth, apocalyptis. But, you know, the revealing, basically the revelation, the judgment, the lifting of the veil, Judgment Day 2020. So again, peace out, take good care, peace be with you, remain in wholeness and high vibration. Best of luck and wishes in your endeavors through the material planes, heading back to the higher vibrations and returning to the sacred union of the Divine Mother. Again, my name is Supreme Priestess Gorgeous. I can be contacted at priestessgorgeous.org to book a consultation assessment. It'll be there. Peace be with you. Namaste, Dandava, and Ashe. Also, again, check the show notes. There'll be some links to other videos if you're curious about several things. Bye.